承認欲求の怪物。
つまらない過去でしょ。だけど私にとってはそれが全て。
So tell me, were you on the same page as me? When this episode first started this week, all focused on Kushida, no problem there whatsoever. I thought this was a Kushida redemption arc, and I was about to be like, ugh. Like, there's no way you could redeem Kushida. This little B is evil AF. There is absolutely nothing you could do or say that will make me like her, feel bad for her, feel empathy towards her, sympathy towards her. Nothing. Ain't gonna happen. I hate this B. Thankfully, the episode kind of like, how do you say it bobbed and weaved around that, but ultimately we kind of found out all of her dirt. And the thing that's so silly is she's insane as F, right? She is AF insane. Like, she is just a crazy bitch. There's like, period, the end. There is no gain around that crazy bitch to the max. Because when we found out like her reasons for doing all of this, right? Trying to get Horikita thrown out of school, trying to backstab her friends, classmates, working with Class C, basically bringing ruin upon the people surrounding her. We find out that it is described by Ayano the best, and he described her with, Kushida is, we're dealing with an attention-seeking monster, and that's exactly what she is. So, in finding out her dirty, deep, dark secrets, right? And we found out that Horikita's brother also knew her as well, or he didn't know her, he knew of her, and he never forgets a face. So, during all of that, back and forth with, Horikita, challenging her, I have some thoughts on that and stuff. We find out her deep, dark past because Ayano comes out and simply asks her for it. And when he asks her, she tells him her deep, dark secret. And it's something that's kind of started in middle school specifically. And it seems to be that kind of like her younger years, like call it like, kinder or pre-K, those 4 and 5 year old kind of like starts all the way through middle school. It seems that she was very successful as a child, and what I mean by that is it seems like she was very successful, being athletic, being intelligent, doing well on tests. Basically, she would do so well in so many different multitude of categories that she would constantly get praise from people around her, probably her parents, her friends. She was always put on a pedestal by those around her, right? She would do well at relay races. She would do well at, whatever, probably PE, volleyball, there's the things that she would do really well at it. And because of that, she grew accustomed to praise, right? And so much so that she ended up being just like completely vile and toxic and just totally, segregated, I guess you could say, when she wasn't getting that anymore. Because in middle school, the script flipped and she was no longer the best academically. She was no longer the best from a athletic standpoint. And because she was constantly falling behind, she was no longer getting that praise. So what she did was she turned it on the head, and she began seeking out that praise in other forms, basically being like the maid, butler, the catch-all, the do-anything person in her class. And that's always a road to destruction. Offering to clean, offering to stay late, offering to carry someone's stuff, offering to get them drinks, offering to do this and this and that and this and that. And it led her down a very vile and toxic road. And eventually she became twisted because of it, and she hated herself for having to do it. So when she turned it on her head, and instead of looking inward to fix herself, she projected outward and began using a blog. And she began just talking mad shit on this blog about all her classmates. And inevitably, she got found out, and that's what spelled her ruin. And when she got found out, basically all of the class hated her. So instead, she leaked out everybody's dirt around them and turned everybody on each other, which is the reason that her classroom's depicted as a war zone is because of what she did. Now, I was thinking like she set the room on fire. I was thinking that she I was thinking that she did some other shit, but essentially, because she turned everybody on each other, like they all fought in class, and that's basically why the classroom is depicted as such with her sitting there. So, a very interesting, story overall. But at the end of the day, it's like I don't feel bad for this B. Like she did what she did. She deserved what came to her, and then now she's in high school. She's trying to kind of relive that thing because she gets off at spilling people's tea, essentially. She gets off at making people trust her and then, I guess, flipping it on them and then being there for them, like, as, like, their savior. Like, she gets off on some weird shit. So, overall, like, I think, again, 𝐼𝐴NA_KOJI said the same thing again in the episode where he said, like, this information that he just learned and gleaned from Kushida is a double-edged sword. It can be used very well against her, but at the same time, he has to be very cautious of how it's used because this could be like a double-edged sword, just like he explained it. So overall, I mean, this episode was really, really good. It really brought Kushida to the limelight. It really made me hate her even more than I hated her before. 'Cause I thought that she has some really fucked up shit that happened to her, but the reality is it was all self-inflicted because she's dumb. Like, she was this attention-seeking monster, as it was explained. And all the things that happened to her was of her own volition. It was her own F-ups. So I don't feel bad. Even, like, I hate her more than I feel bad, So overall, this is like a 10 out of 10 episode. I thought it was absolutely amazing and fantastic. And I think it was one of the better episodes this season so far. And this season has been fire after fire. Like, Classroom of the Elite Season 2 has just been, like, it just hasn't missed yet, for me personally. So I'm giving this 10 out of 10. This one was a great episode. The rest of the episode was just kind of focused around, just to kind of wrap it up, the rest of the episode was focused around the study groups, the girl who likes 𝐼𝐴NA_KOJI kind of going after him a little harder. We find out that 𝐼𝐴NA_KOJI's birthday is coming up. We find out that Class C is going to be delivering the questions to Class D and vice versa. We find out that, Horikita, she challenged Kushida, which was stupid and immature. I thought of, like, why would you weigh everything? Sorry, guys. Why would you weigh everything on a finals test or whatever? Like, why would you weigh everything on a finals test? And it's just such an immature approach that I guess it works, but it was kind of dumb. So I really didn't like that by Horikita. The only thing I didn't like was her challenging her Kushida in that way. And then the major miss this episode, the thing that would take it from a 10 out of 10, it is a 10 out of 10 episode, but the thing that took it down a notch for me on a personal level, not reviews, just personal viewer level, was the lack of K. We had no K this episode, so our K counter is a -1 this episode, and that is a effing travesty that we didn't get to see our girl K. But the rest of it, really good episode. Nothing else really happened. Just the study groups happened as they were kind of getting grouped up, figuring it out. The two people who were grouped up got put together. 𝐼𝐴NA_KOJI went into their group. Horikita's kind of orchestrating everything. And then Ryun did text 𝐼𝐴NA_KOJI asking him if he was the mastermind as well. So Ryun is definitely hot on his tail, as he should be, which is going to be very interesting to see on how 𝐼𝐴NA_KOJI reciprocates that and how he ends up masterminding it, as Ryun like to call him. But let me know what you guys thought of this episode down in the comments below. Did you feel bad for Kushida at all, or did this also make you hate her more? Let me know in the comments, and I'll see you guys next week. Peace.